Hey everybody, it's Rob, back with another Table Talk review. And this week we are going to be talking about a role playing game and setting that is, and has been since I was a kid, the setting at least, very near and dear to my heart. It's put out by Free League Publishing and 20th Century Fox, and I am talking about Alien, the role-playing game. This is the core book, big heavy book, big boy. So let me get the one complaint that I've seen online a lot, and one thing that we all noticed when we got these books. There's a weird smell from these books, and the only thing I can think of is that it is perhaps due to the large amount of black ink that was used to produce it. It has a smell like that. That being said, mine has, well, I've had it for a while now, so it's not as bad as when we first got it, or maybe I've just gotten used to it. But I'm going to look at a few of the products that came out with the role-playing game, talk about those, and then talk about my thoughts on it. Obviously, I'm assuming that you have heard of Alien, or the Alien universe, or you probably would not have clicked on the link to this video. So, this came out last year, towards the end of the year, and we knew for about a year that it was coming before we actually got it. And I was very, very excited when I saw the preview for it and could not wait to get my hands on it. I'm a big fan of the Alien movies, video games, novels, toys, pretty much anything from the Alien universe, and Predator the same way. Speaking of which, 20th Century Fox, well, I guess it's 20th Century Pictures now, is what it is, because they got bought out, but they actually own the rights to Predator as well, so there is hope that maybe we'll get a crossover supplement or something. There's already unofficial Facebook pages where people have statted out the different types of predators and weapons and things so that you can use them in this if you want to, but it'd be nice to have an official supplement for Predator to go along with the Alien stuff. So, the main book gives you a ton of setting information. 3 campaign frameworks basically to work from. 2 types of play, cinematic play and campaign play, and I'll talk about those in a minute. Everything you need for creating characters, and it even gives you a short starter adventure in here that is a pretty neat adventure. It's called Hope's Last Day, and it is the story of a group of colonists on LV-426, the planet from the first 2 Alien movies, that tells the tale of those those colonists as they are trying to survive what is happening to Hadley's Hope. And it's a pretty good adventure. So, but let's look at what else came out along with it. You also have the screen that came out, which is dark, and I'm not sure how much of the art I'm going to be able to get to show up on here, because it's just it's the name and then one of the xenomorphs on there. And the inside has all of your charts that you need for running the game. And I do mean it has most of the charts that you need. There are a couple that aren't on here, but I honestly think they would have needed a whole nother panel to do those. It's that real heavy card with a nice gloss finish. It says Alien, the role-playing game right here on it, on the center panel with the xenomorph head. It's really well done. I like the screen a lot. I have no real complaints about the screen at all. They also put out a map and marker set, The map is a big wall poster map, which mine's up in my rack thing, so I can't pull it down. But it's the core systems and worlds. Same map that's inside the book. The markers are tokens. You have tokens for spaceships. You have tokens for colonists, marines. You have tokens for all the different types of xenomorphs. And they're just little punch-out tokens. I didn't get them out, but if you want to use those instead of miniatures, you can. I should point out that you don't have to use miniatures at all in this game. It can be completely mind's eye theater. You don't that it is completely optional whether you use tokens or miniatures or not. The flip side of the poster has a layout of Hadley's Hope, the colony that you play through the adventure in this end. It's a decent set. I like it pretty good. Maybe I'll get a lot of use out of the tokens. The flip side of the tokens is it'll have the alien on one side or the person or whatever on the other side. It just looks like the blip off of a motion tracker. So if you are using the maps, you can put a motion sensor out. If somebody has a motion tracker, you can be like, yep, you see a blip of movement here, but you don't know what it is. They put out a card pack, which I have found to be very useful. Has a whole bunch of NPCs with their art on one side, their stats on the other side. They put out there's a whole bunch of weapons and vehicles in the card pack. I will say that a few of the weapons were misprinted, and I had to go back and basically put the correct numbers on them. It was just like one number off here and there that didn't match up with the book, and I just went back with a pen and corrected it. They are putting out, and I'll get to that in a minute, a second version of those in the starter set, so I'm hoping those have just been errated when they reprint them. Let's see, what else do they put out? They put out dice. There are 2 sets of dice, 10 apiece, black and yellow. Black for your normal dice, and yellow to represent your stress dice, and we'll get into what those do in a minute. The other thing they put out was a print copy of the first cinematic adventure, Chariot of the Gods, and it is a full adventure with NPCs, maps, the whole 9 yards. It is a very much you find a derelict spaceship, and you go on it and bad shit happens, like in an Aliens movie. This item is not actually made by them. I got it off of Amazon, I believe. It's about $10. And if you're going to run or play in Aliens games, it's kind of neat to have. Not a must by any means. But it's a Weyland-Yutani Building Better Worlds journal. So if you want to make notes for your campaign, or if you want to put your character information in here, that's kind of neat to have. Again, you can do that with a regular notebook too. So my thoughts on the system. You already know about the setting. You can basically play space truckers. You can play Marines or Mercs. You can play colonial, or no, they would be colonist, frontier colonist. And there are a whole bunch of classes in here. And I will kind of go through them here just to let you know what classes are available. You have the Colonial Marine, you have the Colonial Marshal, you have the Company Agent, you have the Kid, you have the Medic, the Officer, the Pilot, the Roughneck, the Scientist, and that's it in the main book. I have run the Hadley's Hope starter adventure out of here, and I have run a cinematic adventure that I wrote myself and set up for my players to play. So I have made characters because I had to make all the characters for the pre-gens for them to play. Making characters in this game takes about 5 minutes. It is super fast. It's not a very complicated system. Similar to White Wolf in the fact that you have a skill and an attribute, you put them together, build a dice pool. Only in this game you have 4 attributes, and you have 3 skills tied to each attribute in the game. And because it's a point buy system, the way they did it, there's no way to really powerhouse it. So you build your dice pool when you're trying to do something, whether you're trying to pilot the ship or hack a computer console or whatever. And then if you have any stress, you take the yellow dice, which are the stress dice, and you add them to your dice pool. Unlike in Vampire, where the hunger dice replaces one of your dice, in this game it adds to the dice pool because the more stressed you are, you're frantically trying harder to pull off whatever you're trying to pull off. So it actually increases your chances of success. But you have to be careful because each one of those stress dice has a little alien symbol on the 1, or you could just use a regular d6, and if you roll a 1, it'll cause you to make a panic roll, and you start to panic, and there's a panic chart, and all kind of things can go wrong, including you upsetting the people around you and causing them to panic more. So tons of stuff happens in the game that gives you stress. It's a horror game. It is sci-fi, but you've seen Aliens. It's a horror game. So every time you turn around, something's hitting you and stressing you out. Something is, you're hearing gunfire where there shouldn't be any. You're getting stress. You're seeing some kind of creature that you've never seen before. You're getting stress. You're seeing one of your friends lose their shit and freak out. You're getting stressed. And these stress dice continue to stay on you and build up until you do things like resting in a safe or what you feel is a safe environment to relieve stress. Your characters each also have a signature item that you get to pick, and you can spend time once per game to kind of focus in on your signature item and use it to relieve stress as well. However, those moments are few and far between, so you will be getting a lot of stress, and you will be trying very hard to keep it off of you because panic rolls are nasty. Combat is nasty in this game. It is very, very deadly. This is a super deadly, probably the most deadly RPG I have ever seen. And that's before we even get to the aliens. You just don't have a lot of health, and bullets hurt. So if you're playing in a game and you're tracking down some cultist, or you're dealing with pirates, or you're running from the law and having to fight them, once those bullets start flying, your head better duck. Oh, because you can get stressed from that too. But you can also die from that. So, that's the flip side. So you would build your dice pool and roll and try to get a success to hit whoever you're fighting or achieve your goal or whatever. But in combat is to hit whoever you're fighting. And then they would have a chance to give up one of their actions to try to block you if they can. If not, then they take damage. It's just that simple. It's not a complicated system at all. The mechanics take about 5 or 10 minutes to learn. It takes a little longer than that to talk everybody through it if you're trying to teach a group for the first time. But once you've walked them through it, it doesn't take long at all to get the hang of it and start playing and dying. Unless your friend Josh has a chair, in which case he's going to beat things to death with it. So, it has a whole bunch of different types of aliens in here. And it's all stuff from the official lore, stuff that they consider canon, and not just the aliens, but different versions of the pathogens and the black goo and everything. And they're all statted out. The combat is very fast, very brutal, and with the aliens, it's even worse because they just have a chart, and they get so many actions per turn depending on their speed rating. So, like if they get 2, they have a speed rating 2, then you would deal that alien 2 initiative cards when you're dealing out initiative, which is just numbered 1 through 10 cards. And every time their card comes up, they get to act. So they can attack, speed rating 2, you can definitely attack twice per turn. And when they attack, they just roll on a chart, and there's a special chart for each type of alien. And when they roll on that chart, it just tells you what they do to the player. None of these are good. All of these are bad. They are horrible. Which, kind of stands to reason. Most people aren't going to go toe to toe with an alien. We're not all Ripley here. Like I said before, you don't have a lot of health, but you don't die. Like if I have health 2, I don't die when my health goes to 0. When your health goes to 0, you are considered broken, and then you have to take a critical hit roll right then. And any further damage you take, you just take critical hit rolls. So the more damage you take, the more broken up your body can become because you're rolling this big D66 chart. The last, I think 4, maybe 5 entries on that chart, you just die. Instant death. So, one bad roll and your character's just dead. Now, that works for this game because of the nature of this game. It's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be deadly. And like I said, I've run this a couple of times, and I have never seen my players, and we play a lot of Call of Cthulhu, but I have never seen my players as excited to die as they are when they show up at my house for a game of Aliens. Because they come into it just expecting, we're going to get killed. But we're going to have a fantastic time getting killed. There are 2 game modes, basically. You have cinematic play and campaign play. Campaign play is exactly what it sounds like. It's like playing a game of D&D where every week you get together with your friends, you play, the story continues, your characters grow, blah, blah, blah. Cinematic play is designed to be done in a 1 or 2 shot session, maybe more depending on who wrote it, but it's kind of like in Call of Cthulhu how you play through one contained story, and then that's it. That story is over, then you would have new characters for another story. The difference is being all the cinematic adventures have pre-generated characters that have ties to the story, and they all have secret agendas that will change as you're playing the game through the different acts. You generally, in the ones that are out, you're going to face aliens, and you're going to die horribly. Some of you might escape, but I wouldn't bet on it. In a campaign, you want maybe your alien encounters to be your end-all, be-all for the story. Because if they run into an XX-121 xenomorph too early, that'll pretty much end your campaign right there. I cannot stress enough how deadly the fights are with these things. But what we have noticed in playing is the stress dice actually do a really good job of emulating and causing you to stress at the table, worried about what's going on with your character, even when you know you're probably going to die. We have really, really enjoyed it. You can use this for Alien. You could most definitely use it to introduce predators. You could you could do like the movie Underwater. Could easily be done using this because those people are under an immense amount of stress the entire movie. So anything that is stressing your characters out, causing them to panic, run in fear, freak out, go crazy, this game can handle it. Alright, so that's just a kind of brief overview of how the game works. I haven't done a full campaign yet. I am working on a campaign just because I want to try it out. I've done a couple of the cinematic ones, and there's some new products coming out that are cinematic that I'm definitely going to want to do. Let me get to the quality. The quality of the books, every product they've put out that I've got my hands on, the quality has been fantastic. The art, the maps, the layout, the quality of the paper, the binding, everything has been fantastic. They're not just using shots from movies. It's mostly all original art, and it is beautiful. You know, if you like seeing aliens burst out of people's chest, it's beautiful. There are 2 new products coming out, I think, in June, maybe August, I'm not sure. Sometime this summer. One is a starter set for the game, which is, that's cool. I'll get to why I'm like that in a minute. And the other one is another box set called Destroyer of Worlds, and it is a cinematic game, but it's supposed to be much more lengthy than what we have now. I'm assuming it's going to be 5 or 6 sessions, something like that, but it's a full box set. Has the NPCs and the books and maps and everything you need for it, but you're going to be playing Colonial Marines in that. So that has a lot of my players excited. It has me excited. I can't wait to run it. The starter set, so here's what it comes with. It comes with the cinematic rules, which are just a portion of the rule book that tells you how to play the cinematic stuff. That's about it. It comes with the cinematic rules. It comes with Chariot of the Gods. It comes with a set of the black dice, a set of the yellow dice. It comes with the map and markers set. I don't know if it comes with the card set or not. I actually got all this information from somebody else, another YouTube video who was doing a video about it. So I know some of that they needed to errata. If you are like me and you bought everything as soon as it came out, there's not a whole lot in the starter box that's going to be useful because I already own it. That being said, those dice are $20 a set. So, it's what, I think a $50 box, and that's $40 worth of dice right there. So it might be worth picking up just to get the dice and the extra maps out of it. If you don't have all that stuff, then it is a fantastic starter set that has all the stuff you need to get started playing this game. In fact, if you're not going to play campaign mode, it's got everything but the screen for playing. So, and that box can double for that. So yeah, if you don't have any of the stuff, it's a great deal. If you already bought all the stuff, then it's maybe you want it, maybe you don't. I'm gonna get it. If nothing else, I'll get the dice and I get a nice sturdy box to put all my stuff in. And it's Alien, so I'm gonna get it. The Destroyer of Worlds box set, I know it has maps, preaching characters, an adventure, cinematic adventure, and I'm not sure what else it comes with, but I'm excited to see it. All I know is it's a campaign based around playing Colonial Marines, probably a bug hunt type thing. The game is just really fantastic. If you like horror and if you like aliens especially, this is a no-brainer. Pick it up. Get the main book at least. And then you'll go buy the rest of the stuff because it's really, really good. It's one of the few role-playing books that I have had trouble putting down. Sometimes you get a book and you just have to work your way through it, and maybe some of the intro stuff is fun to read, but then you eventually get to the point where you're in the rule section and you're nodding off, and I haven't had that problem. I get up early in the morning before my kids and everybody are awake in the house so that I have time, quiet to myself to just sit and read, because everything in here is really well written, really well, the rules and the fluff, and it's just fun to read. It's really, really good. Now, that being said, if you're looking for a sci-fi game where your character is a big damn hero and you want to see them grow and mature over many campaigns, this is not the game for you. You should go play a different game, because your odds are very much in favor of dying horribly and quickly in this game. That being said, don't take it that it's not fun, because the stories are so well written and set up that it's a lot of fun to play through it. And it's kind of a I guess the general consensus in my group is we kind of approach it with, let's see how long I can last. Or there are certain players in the group that just want to see how much they can screw the rest of the party over. Now, keep in mind, they're not like that all the time. But in this game, just like in the movies, somebody's always screwing somebody over. And I feel like every time I run this, I've got a Burke at my table. I don't know what, a 10 out of 10. If I had to give it a rating, 10 out of 10, it's absolutely fantastic. My only complaint, really, is that I wish they would put stuff out faster. I want more material. I want more adventures, cinematic and campaign. I want more player options. I want more of anything that has Alien on it. That's my only complaint. And they've done so well with this that I would blind buy anything they put out. I haven't read a lot of games from Free League. I read Tales from the Loop, which they did, and I thought it was pretty good. But everything that every encounter I've had with any product they've put out has been really good. So, yeah, I cannot stress enough. If you love Aliens, then go get this role-playing game. It is good. It is amazingly good. And I look forward to seeing what we can do with it in the future. And when those new box sets come out, I will probably have either